are literally shaping the planet.
Purpose is the only pathway to a regenerative future.
We have a choice to stay with the status quo or to change.
What is the point of trying to be just resilient when we can actually innovate?
Good morning, everybody, to our 4th annual Shadow Summit. A little bit different format this year, all virtual all the time. But one, just so thankful for our community and our team. Emily Zick, who's been inherited this and has been running with this program. A lot of y'all have talked to her. But I want to give a little bit of background. We started this 4 years ago because we just thought in the world of the built environment, there wasn't a great platform for innovators to talk about innovation in the space. While there's plenty of, there's not a lack of trade organizations in the built environment, whether it's AIA or AGC or Matt with ABC is going to be talking later today. Plenty of organizations, but having a high focus on innovating our industry, we think that there was a gap, so we started this. Interesting enough, last year we had about 400 people show up from all over the world, Tokyo, Turkey, everywhere else. And so it was already moving global. And now as we, getting into the virtual world, it's become super global. So I really want to thank some of our sponsors like Thornton Tomasetti, who honestly, Tom Scarangelo and the team there have been with us from, he was our keynote for our very first summit, and they continue to support us and do great work over there. Firms like Greenberg Tarek, OneTrust, if you were fortunate enough, if you're a startup last year to hear Kabir speak, Kabir's done a stellar job building OneTrust and, big unicorn play based out of here in Atlanta. The Modular Building Institute, Info Tycoon, Orange Sparkleball, who's helped us with a lot of our digital assets and kind of designing how we look at stuff. But one of the things I want to talk about is like how we've moved internationally. So we've had partners like Brigade Reap in India that have brought kind of a pretty big India contingent of innovators and people that are trying to do great work out there for us. So you'll find like the schedule today, it's kind of 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., which sounds like an exhausting day. But really it's been to include the international players like Brigade. Arth out of Singapore brought us a lot of cool startups and talks and speakers. AEC Hive out of the UK has been our partner. They've brought just a ton of speakers. So we've really tried to, we talk about this. We're not in the event business. We are Shadow Ventures is a venture capital firm. It's pretty clear how we make money. We invest in companies, right? And hopefully they're successful. So we can't do it alone. And when you're not in the events business, it's important to partner with people that are really great at that. Other sponsors have been Gerdau, they've been great supporters, Matheson Advisors, Habitat for Humanity. They have a great accelerator based in India that I've been helping to mentor folks, and they're doing great work in terms of thinking about the future of housing and solving some of the world's biggest housing problems. And then Arch Daily. It's been interesting putting this together, shifting from in-person to virtual. I really like to thank some of our speakers that have kind of just, once again, I can't stress enough how grateful I am for our community. You'll be hearing from Amir Paul with Schneider Electric. Been working with them for a few years now and thrilled that he's made time. Arjun Chaudhary, who is with the PGA, so the Chief Innovation Officer for PGA. You might say, what does PGA have to do with the built environment? Well, golf courses, structures, they're doing some pretty amazing stuff over at PGA. Later today, Ron Jarvis, the Chief Sustainability Officer for Home Depot, and I would say career Home Depot executive. I met Ron last year when this was still in person, and he has very specific ideas around the building product space and how you think and contemplate not just doing business with Home Depot, which is super important for a lot of startups that want to do business with Home Depot, but also just how they're trying to frame sustainability. We've asked all our speakers to bring something to the table around innovation to save the planet. And people have stepped up. And I think in many ways, we are in a very important time. This is a very unique time in history where it feels like the forces of nature are coming to us every which way. But we set this theme out last year, and what it tells you is it's just day after day, it's more important. I definitely have a biased opinion. I think innovation is going to come from the startups and the entrepreneurs in this space. And a lot of our entrepreneurs come from the architecture firms, the engineering firms, the construction companies, real estate developers. And I believe that our industry is really the last industry that builds and designs and builds and manages anything of great permanence anymore. We use our iPhones for a couple of years and throw them away. Everything has become so disposable, but we're the last industry that has to contemplate not just what's in fashion this year, but what's going to be interesting for the next 5, 10, 20, 50 years and how it impacts the world. We are literally shaping the planet. And I think a lot of the great innovation does continue to come from industry. Our industry community is over 600 professionals from the AEC space, as well as the real estate space. And they're all very active and very engaged with these initiatives. We have over 200 startups since last year that are in our community focused on these topics. So from our perspective, yes, we're a little biased because we're venture capitalists, but our view of the world is that innovation will come from a startup. And while it's crazy times, you can look at the facts and the data. Almost every great startup has been built during the toughest of times. They've been launched during the toughest of times. So what I'll do is I'll encourage all of y'all to spend the next couple days engage in the roundtables, engage with the speakers. You should have gotten an invite to the Slack channel. When we did our pitchathon last year, we did the Slack channel set up for the event. It was great because people were able to engage ahead of time with speakers, with the community of what's going on, kind of replacing the in-person engagement. And then after talks, people were able to continue the conversation and continue to engage as a community and ask great questions. So I think we have a lot of great content. My hope for you is that it sparks interest, maybe at your corporation, to think about new ideas, to think about new innovation, because now is a great time to launch new ideas. Or maybe you're looking at what's next. Maybe you're looking at your engineering firm, your architecture firm that you work at, your real estate company, and you're starting to think about being more entrepreneurial. And we'd love to help you with that. We'd love for you to take your ideas and go build a startup. We like to see people with that energy, and we'd like to work with you. So my hope for you over the next 2 days is get educated, connect with people, leave yourself time and space to think and ideate, because would love to hear that you met this time next year when we're doing our 5th annual summit. Would really love to think that you met someone here, you got an idea here. It would do nothing but make me excited that this time next year you say, KP, last year at Summit, I had this great idea and I engaged with some pretty cool people and I decided to start something. Because that's what we get excited about around here at Shadow, is people wanting to start new things. And hopefully we get to be part of that journey. Unfortunately, we don't always get to, but hopefully we get to do that. So we have a pretty packed schedule today. Definitely running multiple screens these days, like everyone else. Amir Paul's up next. If you haven't met Brian Sayer on our team, Brian has done some tremendous work this year around modular building, future of modular building, future of construction technology. Get with Brian in Slack. There's a pretty cool track that's built. He published a white paper a few weeks ago. But I think as we look at the intersection of modular, how contractors get involved versus how manufacturers are getting involved, Brian's done some stellar work there. And there's some pretty cool tracks around that. So definitely check that out. I think we've got some cool speakers like Sam Chandon over at NYU, who's become a great friend. Sam will also have some great insights, I'm sure, about the economy and where things are going. Amir over at The Real Deal, if you don't know about The Real Deal, one of the premier publications around real estate. Amir and I are going to do a fireside chat. I guess we're going to have to pull up a video of a fire, so to speak. But we're going to be chatting tomorrow. Michael Beckerman with CRE Tech. And so I think we've done a fairly good job trying to get a great footprint, both geographically as well as topically. But so many speakers, I think it's over 95 speakers for the next 2 days. So hopefully we've built enough variety for something to resonate with you. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to be in Slack for the next two days, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., fueled up on coffee. And what I'll tell you is fuel up on coffee, hydrate well, take a break, but also engage in the Slack community. I think we saw it at Pitchathon. It kind of took on a life of its own. And hopefully see you in the Slack channel, and have a great couple of days.